Hi, this is Pastor Daryl Myatt from Keller, Texas, with a little truth for you today. I want you to understand that Jesus Christ is coming back. Now, this is true whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you understand it or not. Jesus Christ, the King of all kings, will return. He said so himself. In John 14, verses 2 and 3, he said, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again to receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also." Now, a lot of people think, oh, this is old news. I mean, people were talking about this a couple of thousand years ago. Sure. Well, that's because that's when Jesus died on the cross. He was crucified, he was buried, and rose again from the dead, just like he said he would 3 days later. So, yeah, it might be 2,000-year-old news, but guess what? It's very pertinent to today, because if you read your scriptures, you can see the signs and the things that are happening that Jesus told us would happen prior to his return. In Acts 1, verse 11, those angels standing there that saw Jesus descending into heaven said, "Why are you men of Galilee standing here? This same Jesus, which was taken up into heaven before you, will return from heaven, just as you saw him today." Christ will return, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. The problem is those who deny him will be caught unaware. He'll come like a thief in the night for them. But Paul tells us he will not be catching us like a thief in the night, because we're not in the darkness. We're in the light of Christ. People, I want you to understand something. Just because you don't believe in Jesus doesn't make him unreal. It doesn't make him fake. It doesn't make it untrue. God doesn't depend on your belief in order for him to be true. God is true whether you like it or not. God is true whether you accept it or not. Jesus Christ is the King of all kings, whether you believe it or not. The Bible says that every knee will bow down to King Jesus. He's going to live and reign for 1,000 years here on earth when he returns. And those who have been watching and waiting and praying for his return are going to reign with him for 1,000 years. I think that's the very reason why none of the Old Testament prophets lived to be 1,000 years old. Methuselah was the oldest one in the Old Testament. He lived to be 969 years old. I believe that's because there will be many who see their 1,000th birthday during the reign of Christ. It's coming. Are you ready? You know, if Christ returns and you don't believe in him, you're going to spend eternity in hell, separated from him. Everyone will believe upon him when he returns, because they'll finally see him with their eyes. They'll see him coming on the clouds with power and great glory. Everyone will believe at that point. But guess what? If you haven't already accepted him as Lord, Savior, and King, it'll be too late. So why don't you go ahead and accept him now? Because Jesus Christ is the only truth that matters. He said so himself in John 14, verse 6, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to God the Father but by me." Do you believe him? You need to. I love you guys. God bless you. Good Lord willing, I'll see you again tomorrow.